fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening. There is one thing that I'm so sure about today, and it is that all of us in this room, in the virtual room that is, have been in a difficult conversation at least once in our lives. Whether that was during our teenage years, as a parent, or in our day-to-day lives in our workplaces. Let's pause and revisit that conversation from the past, which perhaps tainted our relationship with the other person. Or maybe it made us into a person who now completely runs away from difficult conversations, like me. I'm here to tell you that we don't have to run away from those conversations anymore, because there are better ways. I would like to share with you 3 tools that we can add to our toolkit for better conflict resolution. Before we dive deeper into those tools, there are 2 simple questions that we must answer. The first is, what is conflict? And why does it arise in the first place? The answers are simple. Conflict is when the other person does not agree with us during a conversation. And conflict can arise due to many reasons. It could be because there is misunderstanding. It could be because 2 people have different perspective about the situation. Or simply because we are a jerk and we think we know better. Whatever the reason may be, there is always a better way to make conversations more meaningful and substantial. So are you ready to build our toolkit for better conflict resolution? So let's get started with the first tool, which is active listening. As simple as it sounds, listening is one of the most important things that we can bring to any conversation. It's not only a sign of respect for the other person, it also enables us to learn something new that we didn't know before. After all, who wants to be that talking head who does not care to listen what other people have to say? Because that is eventually going to bring us to a point where we are now surrounded by people who have nothing to say. And who wants to be that person? Because that's just a recipe for a shallow life. So active listening is one of the key things we should take with us to every conversation and hear what the other person has to say. The second tool that we can use in any conversation is to be open-minded. This means we should strive to try new things in life, because that broadens our horizon and it enables us to think about things from a broader perspective. Let me give you one example. I work for a company that makes cars. It's a complex process, but we can break it down into 2 sub-processes. So there is a design side and there is a validation side. It's often to hear people on the validation side saying, why does it take so long for the design to fix an issue? And then the validation side does not understand what's going on on the design side. And you can hear people on the design side saying, why did validation take so long to find the issue? So neither party is wrong. It's just that they're speaking from their own perspective. I happen to have worked on both sides, and I can honestly tell you that I am better due to my experience. I'm better at communication and getting things done because I am now able to put myself in other person's shoe and understand what's going on their end, which is taking longer than one would expect. So, be open-minded and try new things. It can also help us to become perspicacious. Now, you might say, Prabjot, active listening is good, being open-minded is good, but you probably don't have much experience in parenting because kids, especially the teenagers, can be a handful. And sometimes they do make decisions that are not right. And it is hard to convince them. And I get it. The conversations with the loved ones on certain topics are the difficult ones, especially if we don't have the same viewpoint about that situation. Because they're difficult because we love our parents, we love our kids, and we think that our perspective about a situation is going to make their life better, and we try to convince them into what we think is better. Which may be true, may not be true, but I would like to share with you my third tool that we can add to our toolkit for better conversations. And that is to always keep love in the front seat. Rather than completely shunning away and completely ignoring the person, let's bring the conversation, move forward the conversation with love and let the love guide it. So my friends, next time we are in a difficult conversation, we are not going to run away from it. We are going to face it with confidence and grace by using skills such as active listening, being open-minded, and more importantly, bringing love to the conversations. Mr. Toastmaster.